Hello, students and families. This is Mrs. Pertula and Mrs. West presenting about the dual enrollment paperwork for the school year of 2019-20. As we close out the school year, those of you who are planning to apply for dual enrollment for the fall of the 2020 school year, we want to walk you through the paperwork. So on our Warren Mott High School webpage, I want to remind you that you can get to our counseling website by clicking on counseling. And that will take you to our Warren Mott counseling website. Under high school information, you will see a link for dual enrollment. So the nice thing about dual enrolling as a high school student, it allows you to enroll in college courses for credit prior to graduating from high school. And it gives you the opportunity to transition from high school and college easily before you do graduate from high school. We want to remind you that when you are taking classes at the college level while you're still a high school student, you could be sitting in classes with people that are a wide range of ages. You do have to provide your own transportation. You should be a self-motivated and self-starter student. And then the first thing that we want to look at is to have you look at your PSAT or SAT scores to see if you even qualify. So to do that, you would go to your College Board account on collegeboard.org and you would log in and view your score. If you have never made a College Board account, you would want to go to that website. We've provided you the link, and you create a username and password that you are in charge of remembering. Once you get onto your College Board dashboard, then you'd be able to see your scores. I'm going to show you the example of what the scores need to be. And the reason why there are some set scores here is that the district wants to make sure you are going to be a successful student taking college classes. The district is paying for you to be taking these classes, and so we want to make sure that you would be successful. So you're looking at your scores from the PSAT, the grade that you took it, whether it was 9th grade, 10th grade, if you took the PSAT, NMSQT, or the SAT, and you're looking at the scores here of 460 or 510, or the SAT at 480 and 530. Once you see that your scores meet this minimum requirement, so it's at that level or higher, you can go right on to the next steps. If you don't meet the requirements, no need to go any further. Let me just remove my check marks. So step A is what we just talked about, that you have your qualifying test score. Step B is the next step.
So I'm going to go over step B with you. So I'm going to pop over to my screen. And in order to do step B, you click on the catalog at Macomb, and you start to explore what classes you want to take. So for me, this is the fun part, to see what is there offered and what can I take. So there's some basic kind of rules for what classes are allowed through dual enrollment. They have to be a course that we do not offer at Warren Mott High School. So some examples might be that instead of taking Spanish, I want to take a different language. And so some students choose that. And then there's also the other requirement that it can't be a recreation class. So you can't take bowling at Macomb and have Warren Consolidated Schools for it. The easy one that I just mentioned might be another language, just to fulfill your foreign language requirement. And so I can put in sign language. I've had some students take before. And you want to make sure to look, don't just pick the one that comes up first, because that's American Sign Language too. And unless you have experience with sign language, that one might be a little bit tough. So you're going to choose American Sign Language 1. And then you also need to pay attention to the term. So this one, I don't know why this old class is in here, but 2017 fall term. Skip down to where it says 2020 fall term. And the next important thing to look at are the dates. So you might see summer classes listed on some of the things you search. So you want to look at when does it start. And the fall term for college classes begins at middle of August, so August 17th. So you have to make sure that you don't have any responsibilities that are, or maybe vacations planned at that time, that you will be able to begin class August 17th. And then it runs until December 12th. So the next nice thing is that you get extra time off before that second semester begins. The next thing I have to think about is where is it located? So this time frame is perfect for me. It's the fall semester that I'm looking for, but this center campus is the location at Garfield and Hall Road. And that might be too hard for you to find transportation to get there. And so I'm going to skip down because this one says center campus, that one says center campus. I'm looking for the South Campus location because that's at 12 Mile, just down the road from where I'm at. This is the right term, it's the right location, it's the right dates. And so now I have to think about the day and the time. So W is for Wednesday, runs from 6 p.m. to 9:55. That works perfect with your school schedule at Mott because no classes run from 6 p.m. to 9:55 p.m. However, that is pretty late, so you have to think about, do I want to be getting home that late? You also have to think about your work schedule and maybe your athletic schedule or your extracurriculars. Do you have things that run at these times? Because you, your college class is going to come first. So your professor is not going to allow you to skip class because of a practice or because of work. Your college class will come first. This class down here, if I look Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 11:55, that does not fit in your schedule because of your schedule at Mott. So students sometimes, it works as a swap out. So instead of having 6 classes at Mott, I'm now going to have 5 classes at Mott. And so with my counselor, we're going to decide which class to take out. And it will either be your first hour class or your 6-hour class, depending on your schedule at Mott. And so either you'll come to school an hour later or you'll come to school an hour earlier every day. And so this Tuesday, 9 to almost noon, is not going to fit in your schedule. But this Wednesday class would, so that maybe is my first choice. And then you always want to have backup choices, so maybe this second one is my second choice. It is a good idea to have more than 2 choices because classes fill up and sometimes you're not able to get into the class that you want. And actually, usually you're able to see how many, what the capacity is, and it isn't listed yet. So going back and maybe typing in a different language or a different subject that you want to study that isn't offered at Mott, and maybe I'm looking at anthropology. And the cool thing about this intro anthropology class is that they actually offer online sections. So again, this is an old class listed there, so I'm going to skip that one, and keep scrolling down until I come to our current term. This is the spring summer, so that doesn't work either. That's right now. And then I find fall 2020. And this one is actually offered online. That is something that in the past we've discouraged students from doing online classes. However, because of current situation, you might choose to do an online class, and it's the correct date. So it's online. You don't have to worry about how you're going to get there, and it's the right dates that you need. Now, for this one, this could be your first choice, the one that runs from August to October 10/10. And then you could have this second one as your second choice because it runs October 12th to December 12th. So those classes are just 2 months each. And then I'll also show you another trick. You're going to need to know how many credits a course is. So if you click on this part that's underlined, it shows you how many credits. So this one is 4 credits. And the sign language one that we were looking at before is only 3 credits. I know I'm giving you a lot of information. The good thing is you can press pause and rewind and go back. And you can always ask questions and email your counselor and call your counselor. So step B is done. I've looked at the Macomb catalog. I picked out some classes that I like. I even picked up backup classes. I did not mention that some of the requirements. So the number one, I did mention that if it cannot be offered at mine. Number 2, it can't be a hobby, craft, or recreation course. And then number 3, it can't be physical education or religious education. If I jump down to step C, this is for first-time dual enrollment students only. So not everyone has to fill out this form. If you did dual enrollment last year, you do not need to do this step. On this form, you can find dates, you can find a lot of the different dual enrollment information that you need, who's eligible. That's what Ms. Petrula just went over with your test scores. How many courses you're allowed to take at certain grade levels. So there's a chart there for you. It goes over the fees and tuition costs. Warren Consolidated Schools allows for each student to have $668 per course that they take in dual enrollment. And so after the fees and the tuition is covered, the leftover money is for you to pay books for. If you're taking more than one course, there's a chart here, so $668 per course, and how much money that would be if you're taking multiple courses. And I am going to continue to scroll down. Now there's a checklist here for first-time students to make sure that you've thought about all the different things that come with dual enrollment. And the one thing that is most important is to know that if you fail a course, so say you decide it's too hard and you quit, or it really was too hard and you got a failing grade, you are responsible for the $668. So the district will not cover it for you then. So when you decide to take a dual enrollment course, it is an important decision that you need to make sure that you're ready to take a college level course. And so you fill out this form, and then this is for your documents. So even though it just says print here, you can still save it to your desktop if you don't have a printer by clicking print. and then put to PDF. And that allows you to save it to your desktop or maybe to your flash drive so that you can keep that and reference that for your own informational purposes. If I go back to my dual enrollment steps, that brings me to step D. And this is for all dual enrollment students have to fill this part out. And this can take a little bit of time. You're gonna put in, you're able to type right in these boxes. The hard thing is you're not able to save it. And you submit it down here in the lower left-hand corner once you're completed. So you wanna make sure you have enough time to fill it all out or that you don't shut your computer and walk away from it. So make sure you have enough time to get it all done. So say Sally Smith, I picked that because it's in my alphabet. Sally Smith, if she went to Enrollment, would be my student. And she is entering 12th grade next year, so she's putting a 12, the grade that she's entering next year, not the 11th grade that she's in right now. And her WCS home school is Warren Mott. And the post-secondary institution that she wants to go to is Macomb. Some students choose to dual enroll at other colleges or universities. They're often more expensive than Macomb. And because the amount of money that Warren Consolidated Schools is always the same, most students choose Macomb because it's most affordable. Say a student chose to enroll at maybe College of Creative Studies, they have to come up with a difference in cost. So if it's $300 more at College of Creative Studies, then the student would have to cover that part. You are filling these forms out for fall. Year of dual enrollment, 1 through 4. What does that mean? So Sally Smith is my student, and this past year she's been taking a math class at Macomb. That was her first time. And she wants to take another class next year. And so year of dual enrollment this coming year is going to be her second year doing dual enrollment, because she did one class last school year and she's doing another class this school year. And it actually means school year, not semester. So a school year at Macomb is from August until May. And so if you took a class last year, anytime at Macomb from August till May through dual, this will be the second year. And for Sally, this is her, she only took one class in the past. First grade of enrollment in dual enrollment was last year, so that was her 11th grade year. And your counselor is Mrs. West. If you don't know your counselor, you can find that on the Warren Mott counseling website. It's by alphabet. Ms. Pertula went over test scores with you that you have to have that minimum qualifying test score. So I'm going to put in my PSAT reading. And sorry, I have little guys in the background you can hear. So PSAT reading is going to be 460 is the minimum score, and guess what? That's what Sally got. And then the PSAT math, she scored the minimum on that too. Perfect. 510. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll find where you list the courses. This is probably the most timely part of the whole application. So when I was looking at my courses, and you can pop back and forth to look at the information, or you could jot it all down in your notes to type in here. I want to take sign language 1. It's the course title, and then the course name was SIGN 1010. I'll show you that here. Go back a couple screens. I want to show you where you can find all those numbers. So if you look here, it's sign 1010. This isn't the one I wanted though. Let me go a little bit further down to the South Campus one, sign 1010, and then the course number there, H1603. So I jot that down in my notes so I can come over here to type that in. So the section number is H1603. And the meeting time was Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 9, oops, some typos there, sorry, 9:55 p.m. The number of credits, so if you remember that how you find out the credits, you click on this code right here, and it tells me 3 credits. And where it's located, I made sure I chose a South Campus location so I can get there more easily. Now over here is my first alternate. My first alternate was kind of easy to come up with because it was just Sign Language 1. So it's the same course, but it's offered a different day. It's Monday from 6 p.m. to 9:55, the same time, just different day, and that actually gives it a different section number. So this one was H1601. And it's also 3 credits, and it's also offered at South Campus. And then you can put another alternate in there. So my goal is only to take 1 course next year for dual enrollment, but I want to have some alternates in case these classes get filled up quick, that I'm still approved to take other courses. And so then that's where I'm going to put my anthropology in here. It's called Intro to Anthropology. And the course name was ANTH 1000. And the section number is V0804. And the cool thing about that one was that it's offered online. And it was 4 credits. And I'm going to write virtual here, VIR. And that's what I've decided I want to take. And I'm going to decide, you know what, I couldn't find anything else I wanted. And so if these ones aren't available, I'm going to stick with my mock schedule that I already decided with my counselor. Or you could continue and list more alternatives, another alternative here. Over here is some important decisions for you to decide. So the C1 right here means course 1 here. The A1 here means alternate 1 here. And you have to decide how you want this to show up on your high school transcript, your high school record. So if I take Sign Language 1 at this day and time, do I want it to show up with my credit and grade that I earned? Or do I want it to show up credit but not my grade because I've never taken a dual enrollment class before and I'm not sure how hard it's going to be? Or do I want it to not show up with a credit, or I want it to show up with no credit and just the grade? And that is your choice. I think most students choose either credit and grade or the credit with no grade. So you get to choose that. Now for alternate 1, you probably are going to choose the same thing if it's the same course, just a different day and time. Maybe anthropology I'm a little bit less sure about, so I'm putting credit with no grade. Then I'm going to keep going down. Goes over those fees again and the amounts. And here I'm going to type my name. I, Sally Smith, agree. Now this part, so you're going to read through that, and if you agree, you're going to sign this form, and it's with your mouse. If you have a touch screen, I believe you're able to touch it with your finger and sign it. Let me try that because I do have a, yeah. So you can kind of just like at the grocery store with a credit card pad. I'm gonna sign that. And then you date it. So today's date, I'm recording this, is May 13th, 2020. And then your parent is going to sign as well. And it's perfectly okay with me if you're doing a first initial and then last name. And so, with the date. Now, the difference on this form is that you're actually going to submit it. This part here, you don't have to worry about. Your counselor, your principal, and the ad building will look it over and add their signatures. You are going to go through this Macomb paper application as well. And so 2020 is what you're applying for. This Macomb user ID, if you've done dual enrollment in the past, you're also going to put your Macomb user ID in there. All this looks pretty self-explanatory to fill this out. This one, you're gonna wanna choose dual enrollment. You don't wanna pay for it yourself. You can do that, like if you were taking a summer class, maybe you would do that. But for dual enrollment purposes, if you want Warren Con to pay for it, that's the option you choose. And this part you can leave blank, but then the approved courses is important for you to fill out. And those are the classes that you put up here. So if you go up here, you're gonna put sign language 1010, sign language with the H1603, sign language 1010, H1601, you're gonna list it down here. Okay. I have a couple of notes here of things I need to go over. Up here at the top, I forgot to mention this, you need to do parent and student initials here. So here it's going to be, I have Sally Smith, and the parent is going to sign her initials. So make sure, I forgot that part, make sure you don't forget that part on both of these. And another note. I think I have everything covered there. And then I'm going to click submit form when I'm all done with that. I'm going to go back to my steps. I was on step D with the Warren Cons paperwork. And so now Ms. Petula will be going over step E.
Okay, so we are almost done. We've gone through steps A, B, C, D. Step E is for those first-time dual enrollment students. You must complete an application online for Macomb Community College because you are new to Macomb. So we want to take this blue spot here on Macomb's website we have to create an admission account with Macomb. So all of the sections that have the red star next to it must be filled out. I'm going to point out this part here, the year of your high school graduation, or the year of your expected graduation. So Sally Smith was going into her senior year next year, so she'll be expecting to graduate in 2021. And the classes that I plan to take will be in the fall semester of 2020. And then you're in charge of creating your password, and you want to keep that in a secure spot. Jot it in your notes so that you can remember, and you hit the button to create that account. Once you're done with that, if you needed any other assistance, I want to point out this form that we have a link to. Let's say now we're fast forwarding and it is in July. If you're needing some assistance from the curriculum office, there is a person, Miss Kimisik. She's very helpful. There's a link for her email or phone number, and you can reach out to her for any assistance. And this page was just showing some examples of some good visuals of how to get to those forms that we had already walked you through. So after you are approved, Macomb Community College will send you information. They will require you to take a placement test. All students that take classes through Macomb are required to do that. And then you'll be able to register for your classes. And again, here's the number and email, if it were during the month of July, that you can contact the representative at Warren Consolidated Schools Central Office. We want to remind you that if you have any questions as you're going through this, feel free to reach out to us at the counseling department. We are doing virtual counseling. If you haven't seen this already, we want to point out our virtual counseling department part of the webpage. Ways to contact us could be by email. We have a form that you can fill out here. We have a temporary number set up. And then we also have some Zoom schedules to do office hours. And we will be doing this throughout the rest of the school year. Have a great day.